May the 4th be with you, everybody, and what better review to have today than The Empire Strikes Back? We are looking at The Empire Strikes Back, what is possibly the greatest Star Wars movie ever made. Um, for me, I agree it is the best one. However, it's not my favorite. I'm a sucker for A New Hope because really that one was the one that really brought me into the Star Wars universe. Obviously, it's the first one. And but that one was the one that made me really fall in love with Star Wars. But The Empire Strikes Back is damn near close. It is too perfect of a movie. And yeah, it is a great follow up to what was already a classic. And for me, I gotta say, this is one of the greatest sequels of all time. This is one of the greatest movies of all time. And they did a fantastic job of reintroducing the characters you love, introducing new ones, and follow up with an even bigger story. Because in this movie, Darth Vader is on the lookout for Luke Skywalker. Why is he looking for Luke Skywalker? Is it because he destroyed the Death Star? Well, we'll find out. So in this world, Luke is on the search, and then he gets stuck in the snow, but eventually gets rescued. He ends up using his force powers to help himself out. But in the process, he gets a vision from Obi-Wan talking about being trained by a master by the name of Yoda. So he's on the lookout to see who is Yoda. So the Empire's on the lookout for Luke Skywalker, and we get the infamous Battle of Hoth. And this thing is nostalgia up the wazoo. This has just been very played for so many reasons, and it is one of the most iconic battles of all time. They did a fantastic job giving you this Battle of Hoth. It's still very iconic. Um, but meanwhile, Luke is still on the lookout for Yoda. There's a scene that gets changed over and over with the dialogue between the Emperor. This is the first time we get introduced to Emperor Palpatine, and they kind of changed a little bit about what the exact mission is, as far as like Emperor wants to destroy Luke Skywalker. However, Darth Vader believes he could change him, and at the time we didn't know why. We are in for a big reveal at the very end. But, anyways, there's a part of me that really loved Yoda. He did a fantastic job. It was just like a little Muppeteer character, but he looked goofy, he looked silly, but man, he was very entertaining. He really was believable as one of the greatest masters of the Jedi. And this was a real showcase of his work, and it was I really love the interactions between him and Luke. It really shows you that Mark Hamill's a really good actor when it comes to acting with puppets. I mean, the recent review I did was him and the Muppets. Then there's a side quest with Han, Chewie, Leia, C-3PO, where they're on the lookout for help. They're also running away from the Empire as well. But then they end up being caught by a person who we thought was going to be Han's friend, Lando Calrissian. And yeah, unfortunately, this does lead to Lando betraying them, but then turning back with them. But in this journey, you also start noticing like a little chemistry between Han and Leia, really having that chemistry, really liking each other. We all thought Leia was going to end up with Luke, but we all know that later on we find out that Luke and Leia are brother and sister, which makes this scene very awkward. I really love that scene and I heard that this was even on the script, but it was the scene where Han gets frozen, and then they go, um, "I love you." I know, like I heard that wasn't script. I heard that Han was supposed to say "I love you too," but he just didn't say that. That was awesome. Um, he gets frozen up, and then he gets taken. by Boba Fett, and we all thought, like, because we all knew that there was gonna be a third movie on the way, but we just didn't know when and where in the 80s back in the day. But we all saw Boba Fett and we're like, this guy looks cool. Boba Fett had a brief cameo in the holiday special, but the less we say about that, the better. During the training, Luke has a vision where he believes that his friends need help, so he's on the way to help them, even though his training isn't done. But Yoda is like, no, you're not ready. He even moves his ship that gets stuck on the river. Anyways, Luke goes on this journey to go help save his friends. However, his training isn't done, and even Yoda proves it when he moves his ship, and it's like that is why you failed. But anyways, Luke, he says like I gotta do what I gotta do. So we're basically sending Luke into a mission where he is not ready yet. So when he eventually fights Darth Vader, um, it's very important. Like, you're like, how is Luke supposed to beat Darth Vader? He doesn't. He actually gets his arm cut off. And then we get the biggest reveal of all time: Luke, I am your father. So, Darth Vader is Luke's father. We all thought that for years, um, Darth Vader killed Luke's father, but instead, Luke, his father, was Darth Vader this whole time. That is like one of the biggest reveals of all time. It was just like, whoa. Are you kidding me? Now, this was spoiled to me by The Simpsons. If you guys know the scene, you know the scene. Um, but this was very iconic and very important to the story, and it was just really good, and I really enjoyed it. I thought this was a fantastic reveal, and it's still one of the biggest reveals of all time, and they did a fantastic job with putting this twist together. And one of the biggest things that people were not high on, particularly George Lucas, was that the movie ended in a cliffhanger. We don't get a full result, and something that up to this point, the prequels, Episode 4 and Episode 6, end in a nice wrapped around bow. This is the only one up to this point that ends in a cliffhanger. And I know George Lucas didn't like that, but it kind of worked for what it was supposed to do. Like, it needed to end on a cliffhanger to get you more excited for the eventual battle once again between Luke and Darth Vader. The only problem is that we were gonna have to wait 3 years in between. But that's just a testament of how good this movie really was. I know that this is probably the one that George Lucas is least involved with as far as directing goes, but still, this is just such an iconic movie, and it's hands down one of the greatest sequels of all time. I just can't praise it enough. They showed you new characters, they evolved the characters that we knew and loved already, and they just did such a great job of teaching you. Because Luke wasn't ready for the Empire Strikes Back, but eventually, when he gets to Return of the Jedi, he is ready. We got a tease of the Emperor, we got a tease of Yoda, Lando, um, freaking Boba Fett, even though his demise is a disappointment. We did such a fantastic job with this movie, and it's an A plus. What did you expect me to say? This is one of the greatest sequels, one of the greatest movies of all time. Even though I like A New Hope better, it still doesn't change the fact that this one is pretty damn good. Anyways, that's gonna be my review of The Empire Strikes Back. And now my next review tomorrow will be the first video game in this series, and that is PlayStation 2's Star Wars Battlefront. One of the very early video games that I played growing up as a kid. I think it would be fitting to talk about this one, and I cannot wait to play it again. Well, technically I already did, but anyways, I'll see you tomorrow with that review. Take care, everybody.